Like definitely
I was
Team
like,
Magneto father. Yes,
I
Yeah.
was like, you think you know someone? My
I
goodness.
know. Go Megan. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, like,
The Joystick Show. The Joystick Show.
Aloha and welcome to the Joystick Show, a podcast where three friends from high school in Hawaii get together every week to chat about the things that bring us joy from pop culture. I'm Thomas and I'm joined with Scott.
How's it?
And today we have a very special guest. We've been trying to get them on for so long. I love their podcast. Their social media presence is just like, it's just the Phoenix Force. It conquers all. They have an awesome podcast. It's full of just joy and Marvel goodness. We have Megan and Max from Vigilante Vibes, a Marvel podcast on. How are you guys doing?
Hey, doing pretty
good.
well.
Very
Thanks for having
nice.
us. We're big fans.
Oh,
Very
wow.
excited.
That's how I
Yeah.
feel about both of you. This is great.
Yeah.
Ah,
Very
awesome.
nice. So, okay, to kick this off, we kind of have a fun question. And just to kind of gauge your personality on this, I know we talk a lot about superpowers on your show, but if you had the power of invisibility, what would you use it for?
Ooh.
Oh.
I know,
Hmm.
because normally I think when people hear invisibility, they think bad things.
I know. My mind went straight to bad things.
Okay, we can go with bad
I
things.
only
I
only
went to like
thought of
rob a
bad
bank.
things.
That was my first
So funny.
thing.
Oh my God, same.
Steal a bunch of Starbucks
Listen,
coffee, as we were
times are
talking
tough.
about.
Yeah, exactly. Times are tough, man.
That's so funny. You get the
Yes.
powers and you're like, I got to do bad things now.
Listen, you gotta take care of me, then I'll
Really,
take care of everybody else.
Yeah.
There you
yeah,
go.
it really depends on the power because you could get like flying and you're like, I just want to go around the city. I just want to swing around. And then visibility, you're like, I got to get things done. Like, this is a serious one.
Right.
Exactly.
I know. I'm trying to think of good situations where you could actually use it. You know, it's
Yeah, that's true. This question's like loaded because what are some good I want to hear what are some good things you could do with invisibility.
yeah, that's actually the real question, and that's actually like a project for a future episode, actually, because
Yeah.
I don't know.
To be continued.
Yeah, TBD. That might
Yeah. I
be
was
like an
thinking
online poll.
the
Oh, sorry,
closest
Scott.
thing
Hmm.
would still be kind of bad, but I'd like use it to like guarantee a spot in Comic-Con just to get in. And then you can still
Yeah.
purchase things. You're
It's
not
true.
stealing everything. You still be a good person, but some things are just hard to get into. So,
That's a good point.
Okay.
I mean,
Okay.
I
but I'd
like
still
it.
be breaking the law and sneaking in. So,
Yeah.
not
I mean, you were
perfect.
like, some things are hard to get into, just like bank vaults.
Yeah, just like bank vaults, I'm telling you.
All
So
right,
I have
Scott.
like
Oh
I
yeah,
have
go for
two
it.
answers. Yeah. The first
Mm.
one, I would sneak into the Oscars because I want the tea on every celebrity. I want to know everything. I
Ooh.
want to know who's in the Illuminati. I need to know.
Yeah.
The second
Right.
one, I would actually follow my daughter to school just to see what her day's like, just to see.
Aw,
Great
that's
Aw,
actually.
actually
There is
wholesome.
a
sweet.
Theirs is a good one. So there you go, guys.
That is a good
Yeah,
one. Yeah.
that is a good
Yeah.
one. Well
Okay.
done. You found it. Homework done for next week. All right, Scott. I think you got the next one.
Okay. Yeah. So I am interested. What is your favorite underrated Marvel character and why?
Ooh. Hmm. Underrated.
Nightcrawler.
Oh, okay.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a
That's
Yeah.
a really
great
good
one.
one.
Yeah. I'm getting his face tattooed somewhere on me. It's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
Live on our podcast, everyone. No, I'm just kidding.
That would get some views. I'm for it. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
Oh,
exactly.
I think there was a girl in college that I had a crush on that had Nightcrawler bamfing on her arm. And it was
Wow.
like I don't even know if we had a single thing in common besides X-Men, but I was like, I think I love her. You know? Yeah.
That's
Knows
a
me.
pretty, that's a green flag right there. I mean, come on. If
that
you're gonna
is
look for green flags,
like that's the green
Yes.
flag. The
yeah,
blue flag. That's a blue flag.
There you
the
go. I love
blue
it.
flag. I feel like I'm trying to think of an underrated character. I feel like right now, honestly, would probably be this is a tough one.
I'm surprised you
Probably
haven't said
Quicksilver right now.
I'm
Oh,
surprised you didn't say
That's great.
Doctor Strange.
But I feel like he's not underrated. He just had, like he's a pretty like prominent character, in the
Yeah,
MCU and all that at the moment.
but ever since MOM, he hasn't been taken very seriously.
That is true. I was trying to find like a character that was like has been really like underrated. And I feel like if I'm
Oh,
thinking of
okay,
that,
okay.
maybe probably Quicksilver. Probably Quicksilver.
That's
He
a good
didn't
one.
get his day in. He only got like 5 seconds of that movie, really, and he should deserve more. So I'll give it to Quicksilver.
Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
that.
I was honestly thinking about Aaron Taylor Johnson's Quicksilver the other day when I was vacuuming for some
Mhm.
reason. I'm like, that really sucks. We only got it for one movie. Like that'd have been nice.
Exactly.
He was
Yeah.
For
a
sure.
plot device for Wanda. That's all he was. He was just there to die, just so
I
we could
know.
watch her go through
So
trauma.
sad.
That ain't right.
Yeah.
No.
Hey,
It ain't right
granted.
at all.
Yeah. They did destroy me, but I love WandaVision, so maybe it was worth it. I don't know. Stop justifying it to myself.
True.
Bring him back though.
Yeah,
Something.
it's true.
Where do you fall on Wanda and Quicksilver not being Magneto's kids? Do you wish they would retrofit that? Do you like that? Are you okay with it?
I'm not a
I
fan.
liked what?
Oh
I'm not a
You go
yes,
fan.
first.
yes,
You go
drama.
first.
I'm not a fan of them. No, wait, let me clarify. I'm not a fan of them making them not his kids. I want them to be his
Oh,
kids. That's what I
Yeah,
meant to say. Like, definitely,
I was
Team
like,
Magneto father, yes.
yeah.
you think you know someone? My
I
goodness.
know. Go, Megan. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, like, I understand it's a rights issue. I get it. Figure it out though, because they're his kids in the anime series X-Men 97.
Yeah.
There was a hint of it in the Fox films too, when Quicksilver said, "My mom knew a guy who had your powers." So
Yeah.
it's like, come on, MCU, get it together. There's so much depth there that can be used for Wanda if she finds out Magneto's her dad, especially because he was so trashy to her. And that means she has a sister, Polaris, who he was trashy to as well.
Yeah.
So get it
Yep.
together. I only need 5 minutes on the phone with Kevin Feige and I'll get it done.
I love
Just
it.
5 minutes,
Whole
Kevin.
thing.
There you go.
Yeah.
If I get his number, I'm giving it to you first.
Yeah, you could be
Yes.
driving, Kevin.
You
Yeah.
could be driving.
Yes.
That's fine.
Yeah.
You'll
Megan will let
crash
him
though.
know.
There you
That's
go.
awesome.
I
I
love
think
it.
about this a lot.
It's true. She does. She says it all the time.
That's awesome. Yeah. So have you read the Trial of Magneto in the Krakoa era? There's such like a good
Yeah.
tie-in, with Wanda like
Mhm.
kind of being his kid but not being his kid, and she steps in for Polaris and that thing. I love that. I thought that was so well done.
All of it was great. It's just like it's never going to be a happy family of the Magneto children. It's not. But he does care. Like there's somewhere in there. That's why he should Polaris, Quicksilver, and Wanda showed up on the boat in X-Men 97 with Rogue because those were his
Yeah.
kids. Also, I feel like that means Rogue is pregnant. So,
Yep.
Whoa. Dang,
which would be
that
comic accurate.
wow, that's some
Mm-hmm.
hot theory right there. That was in
Yeah.
like a different timeline though, right? If I'm not mistaken. Like it
Yes,
happens.
but it happens, but that timeline was hinted at in X-Men 97
It's
when they
true.
got together and
Yeah.
the Savage Land outfit and all that.
Yep. Wow. Oh
I'm on
my
board
gosh,
with
you
this
just blew
one.
my mind
I
for season
know.
2. That was like an idea I didn't even think about.
Yes.
I'm shook. That's a good one.
Yeah, I love that theory.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's a
definitely.
good one.
So, okay, I want to go back to like your origin story, if you will. Before the podcast, can you kind of tell me about the Mediaverse group on Facebook? How did you get involved with it? How did it start? All of that.
Hmm. That's a good question. Okay, so Megan and I joined the group first and the admin team first, and it was all about just a non-toxic space for people to be able to openly discuss MCU projects, Marvel projects, comics, different like that. There was such a need for it during the pandemic, and it stemmed really around the WandaVision era. Speaking of the fact that we've been talking about WandaVision a lot, and I feel like during the pandemic, everybody was locked in. We were all tweeting, posting theories about WandaVision like every week. We were all following that. It was such a beautiful time for the fandom, but there was so much toxicity. So it was just nice to have a place where that toxic crap was being, kept out and monitored, and everybody could form their own opinions without getting trashed or without getting bashed. And so that's kind of where Mediaverse Comics Unwrapped was conceived from. And it just kind of grew from there. It stemmed way past WandaVision into all the MCU projects, comic books now, different properties like DC, we have Star Wars conversations, etc. And really just the main theme is just non-toxicity and having a safe space to be heard and to discuss and to share ideas and theory. That was one of the main things, was being able to theorize without someone coming and commenting right after saying that, oh, you're stupid, that doesn't make any sense. Being able to express yourself.
Right. I love that. I love that. Yeah. Megan, do you want to add to it?
Yeah. It's extremely well moderated. We are in it all the time, and it takes up all of our time. But that's what you have to do to ensure that you don't get that toxicity that's in the fandoms, because Max and I have felt that toxicity so many times. So it's nice to have one place where we don't.
Yeah.
I mean, 5 places. We have 5 different groups under the Mediaverse umbrella, all
Oh,
non-toxic.
okay.
So, yeah. And we might be changing the name soon, so
Okay.
keep an
It's
eye
been
out
in the
for
works.
that.
There you
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
A little upcoming hint as to what we can expect. I
Mhm.
like it.
Yeah.
That that's wonderful. Yeah, I think especially with us too, it's like what brings us joy. We're not trying to shit on anything. There's enough negativity out there. We know about how hard people work putting their
Oh, yeah.
time, effort, energy into these projects. Like, you can go on any social media site now and just see like a ton of negative posts about anything. I'm experiencing it a lot right now talking about the Acolyte. Unfairly, I think.
Mm,
I think the Acolyte's been pretty good.
yeah.
Not to talk spoilers and everything, but it just really does blow me away. And I really love that message that you guys had about just, having it be a safe space, a positive space to throw out ideas, to just converse, and I don't know. I think it's beautiful. I fully agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
second that.
plus there's not many places you can have a negative opinion about something and not be judged for it too. Because we've always said a negative opinion is just as valid as a positive opinion. But if you go about it in a toxic way, like you're saying,
Hmm.
it's because it's woke, it's because it's trash, it's garbage. Your
Right.
opinion isn't valid. You're just an echo chamber of the internet
Mhm.
at that point. So it's nice to have all
Absolutely.
different types of opinions, and everyone is able to converse them like adults, which doesn't usually happen on the internet.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. It's all about remaining respectful. And one thing we always pride ourselves on in our Facebook group is just inclusivity as well, which something I didn't touch on. But we welcome people from all
Hmm.
different walks of life, ethnicities, backgrounds, genders, everything. That's one really strong point that I want to touch on, is that we are a very inclusive space. We want to make a space that is non-toxic for everyone, and we want everyone's voices to be heard equally. So that's another thing.
That's
Beautiful.
awesome. Do you have a bunch of Hawaii people in there? Because me and Scott will definitely fill the Hawaii void if you don't have anybody in
Yeah.
there.
We
We
have
need
a
you too.
couple. We have
Your
a
couple?
couple, but we always need more.
All
There's not
right.
enough
Absolutely.
We'll be there.
representation.
Jeez,
For
we can
sure.
do it.
Nice.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So, what inspired you to do the podcast? How does that go from that Facebook group now into this?
So well, it's actually a really wonderful story. So Facebook decided to host a community accelerator program, which we were lucky enough to be selected for. And I was tasked with creating a project for our group to stimulate the community and encourage growth. And I kind of was like going with Megan on this and asking her, what do you think we could do? What do you think, a good project would be? And then I came up with the idea of a podcast, something that would give our group and our group's message a voice. And Megan was the first one to join on with me as my co-host, and she was just so all for it. And we've just put in so much work. We learned how to podcast. We, hired a producer. We had so many wonderful tools made available to us throughout that program, and it just kind of like snowballed from there.
Ah, love it.
Well, let's be honest. Like no one else was gonna do the podcast. It's just
I
us.
know,
We've
yeah.
always been there.
It's always
All
been us. It's
it's
always
Yeah.
been
always
us.
been
You're
us.
like, Megan
It,
jumped in right away, but it was really only Megan.
Yeah, it was really only
well,
Megan.
like I got a
Yeah.
private message saying, "Hey." should we start a
Yeah.
podcast? And I was like,
Nice.
yes, we should start a podcast.
Mhm.
Absolutely, we should.
Absolutely.
And then we did. And our team is very helpful. They help
Mhm.
us wherever they can, and they're very supportive of everything. We've even had some of our team members on, which I really hope to get
Mhm.
more on soon because they're all
That's
great
cool.
people.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
we learned so much doing this podcast. Like, and every algorithm on every social media works against you. Like
Mhm.
Facebook, if you have the word podcast in your post, it'll be hidden from viewers because they don't have a podcast feature. We know
Ah,
that because we weren't allowed to call it a podcast at first. We had to call it a talk
Mhm.
show.
Yeah.
oh,
So
wow.
yeah, there's just so many things that go into it that work against you. And you're like, okay, let's push
Yeah.
down the little guy.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
Right.
It's
Yeah,
pretty
and now
wild.
Instagram is changing their algorithm on anything, right? It's like
Mhm.
anytime you post a link in your caption, it basically gets less views now because they
Yeah.
don't want anything that's going to pull you off of their platform onto a different one.
Yeah.
So I get it. You know, as little podcasters as we are, like the goal is
Mhm.
always to get more subscribers and to keep growing the community, but
Mhm.
yeah, that doesn't happen too much off social
I
media for
know.
us.
No,
Link in
Yeah.
bio.
it's impossible.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Even that.
Link in
Dink.
comments, like that doesn't help.
I
Right.
know.
God.
Yeah.
I know, totally. Yeah, Scott, do you want to take the next one?
Oh yeah. So are there any like movies, shows, comics, or piece of pop culture that you guys love that you're not able to talk about on your show?
Ooh.
Ooh.
For me, I think the obvious answer, and this is only because Megan is not really a fan, but Star
I
Wars.
knew it.
I
Oh,
would love to talk Star
Yeah.
Wars. I'm so frustrated, but I respect the fact that Megan's not a fan, so
Right.
You're not a
I
fan.
thought you were gonna say Taylor Swift, and I was gonna lose it.
Oh man.
well, listen, if we're really going there, yes, I would. Oh my God, I would kill to have like a Taylor Swift theories podcast or like someone to like do
That's
that with.
amazing.
Yes.
That's amazing.
I like Star Wars, but I've only watched the movies and like think like the first half of the season of Mandalorian. The shows overwhelm me. I want to get into and watch it all. I really, really do.
Right.
But like I'm so limited on time. I
Right.
just don't know
Mm.
what to do. So someday we're gonna do it. It's gonna happen. I promise you. It might
He's like, all
happen.
right, well, I'll see when I see it.
Yeah,
Yes.
right.
May the force be with you, Megan. I don't know. So
That's
Uh,
So funny.
I think mine would be it's not really pop culture, but sports. The UFC.
hmm.
oh wow,
I'm
Oh,
okay.
cool.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm a
Right on.
huge UFC MMA fan.
Oh, you would love our co-host Drake. He's like a purple belt in jujitsu and like around all those
Ooh.
guys and always tries to
Oh,
throw in
I'm
MMA in this podcast whenever he can. And
Yeah.
I'm like, I do enjoy it, but I'm like, that's not really the brand, but whatever, we make it work. Yeah.
I get it. I'm a black belt in Taekwondo, so it's been like my
Wow.
whole
that's
life.
awesome.
Yeah, so that's
Oh,
always
Badass.
just been what I'm into.
You're
Love
like a
it.
real life Psylocke
Wanna-
over here.
I
Yeah,
know
I
she
want to fight
is.
someone right. I want to fight someone right now.
She probably does.
Yeah.
I always do.
I will
all the
never
time.
write anything bad in your comments. That's for sure. I am too
That's
afraid
funny.
now. That's amazing. Well, yeah, wow, those are some interesting things. I didn't know it was going to go there, and I appreciate the MMA and Taekwondo, and I appreciate the Star Wars as somebody who's covering the Acolyte, who loved Ahsoka, who loved Andor. Like all of this
Ah,
stuff has been
yes.
so good lately. So yeah, if you ever want to
We've
come
been
on and
eating
talk
good.
Star Wars, we have. Yeah, and yet talk about toxicity again with the Star Wars
I know.
fan base.
Oh, it's even
I
worse.
I
Yeah.
don't get it. I don't get it at all because the stuff has been great.
I know, yeah. I think, not to get too off topic, but yes, definitely would love to join for Star Wars talk. But also, I feel like the thing with Star Wars fans because it spans like so many generations at this point, like starting in the late 70s to now, you've got
Mhm.
so many people with so many different ideals and different like expectations for how things should be going. Because
That's true.
if you started with the original trilogy, you started with the prequels, if you started with, the sequels, if it just I think that's what causes a lot of the conflict, truthfully, but it's still ridiculous.
Damn boomers.
know,
I'm just-
In this safe space,
yeah.
since we're all here, I have a Star Wars
yeah.
question. Do you
Ooh,
guys
yeah.
like Jar Jar Binks?
Okay.
You know,
So I loved him when I was a kid. It did not bother me at all. then as an adult found out the world hated Jar Jar Binks, much like Nickelback.
I know.
Don't know why
Okay.
people hate Nickelback that much. I think they have some bangers, but
The internet ruined them.
yeah,
Yeah.
but Ahmad Best, right, who played Jar Jar Binks, seeing what he had to go through by toxicity, by the fan base, by like death threats for playing a character that George Lucas created. I just
Mhm.
don't understand it, and it makes me love Jar Jar Binks more because of all the crap he received for just playing a character he was hired to play.
Yeah,
Like
it's
I
ridiculous.
don't get it. I just
Yeah.
thought it was so great that he got some redemption too in was it the Mandalorian or Ahsoka? One of those.
Yeah.
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 This is
So
Ahsoka, wasn't
Mandalorian.
it?
yeah.
I,
Oh yeah, maybe it
I
was
don't know.
Ahsoka. Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
Growing
Mhm.
up, yeah, I loved him. Like he was great. Like he was like comic relief in the movies. He's
Yes.
doing
Mhm.
silly things. I'm like, you know, um, it wasn't until like my wife really hates Jar Jar Binks, and I don't know if it's because like you're saying like it's like the Nickelback, like it's cool to hate Jar Jar. So
Right.
because of that, I love him more. You know. So I'll say like, oh, like if we put it on or whatever, and he comes in, I'm like, hey babe, check it out, like your favorite, you know, I just lean into it. Because it's
I love
silly
it.
to be, yeah. I'm like, what?
Fair.
He's not taking anything away from like the Star Wars. There's I feel like it's got everything for everyone, and you know, some people Jar Jar's there for them. So I don't get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's your take,
I
Megan? Do
agree.
you have a feeling towards Jar Jar?
I like Jar Jar, and when I post that, I get laugh reacted, and I don't know why. So I don't know who to ask.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
just, here I am.
There you go. Hey, you
Hmm.
gotta stand by what you love, and yeah,
Yeah.
I
shout out to him
agree.
on best. He deserves the world.
For
So,
sure.
Yes.
yeah, I appreciate that we went there. Now let's see. What? So, is there an MCU project that you're most looking forward to, and how do you think that it's going to change the cinematic universe going forward?
Hmm.
Max has the answer. I know he does. Because he
I feel like
talks
there's a
about this theory.
very I feel there's a very obvious answer, and you know what, the thing with this question, whenever we get asked this, is that it's
Mhm.
hard because it's like usually it's the next coming project because we're all
Right.
like we've all got our theories going, the marketing is started, we're all like invested in it, we're watching, everything about it, and for me it would be Deadpool and Wolverine, obviously,
Mhm.
and I think I'll like at least right now if we're talking about the obvious answer, and I think that's because this film is going to be a big indicator of where we're heading in the future as far as the multiverse saga in the MCU, as far as like the future of like the films that are going to be coming out, like what kind of like how they're going to reframe everything, especially with everything that's gone on with the King the Conqueror situation, like the storyline, like how they're going to approach it. I feel like this particular movie is really going to set new stakes for this whole multiverse saga that they've been plotting out. That's
Right.
why I'm very excited for it. Plus the Fox stuff that they're going to be incorporating. I mean, come on, that's going to be amazing and nostalgic for me because I grew up with that
Right.
stuff.
Yeah.
Totally. Yep.
I think Daredevil Born Again is something that will at least show us how the MCU can handle certain comic book characters and the Defenders
Mm,
because it looks like they're doing the Devil's Reign storyline. That'll give us a really good way if they do follow that. That means they have to introduce Luke Cage. That means Jessica Jones is somewhere in there. So I
mhm.
think it'll show us a lot with just that one show.
Yeah. Wow,
Yeah.
both
That's
fantastic
awesome.
answers. Yeah, how could you not be excited for Deadpool and Wolverine? Like the marketing has been
Yeah.
amazing. The
Yeah.
costumes look amazing. Like just
Yeah.
all these
Yes.
cameos. I'm so excited about it too. I bought a
Yes.
pre-sale ticket for like the front row just so I could get one of those little lockets. You know, like with the coins.
Yes. I did the
Yeah.
same thing. I
Did
did the
you?
same thing.
I'm
It's
not
like at
gonna
the
go
3
watch
p.m.
it.
showing.
Yeah, I'm not gonna go watch it during that showing because I'm gonna be in the front row. My neck's gonna hurt for a week. But like, I
Yeah.
will definitely buy it to get that coin to get the locket.
Mhm.
Yeah,
For sure.
definitely. I might have had weirdly enough, I think the thing that I'm kind of most excited to see what it looks like is, well, I mean Captain America because I want to see how they if the rumors are true about Tiamat and adamantium, and I'm like a big Captain America fan, especially Sam Wilson. Like I
Mhm.
really like it. And then the other one that's kind of maybe a curveball is the Thunderbolts, because I'm so
Ooh.
curious how they're gonna do it, especially with that little asterisk at the end of the name.
Yep.
Yeah. What does that even
Yeah,
mean?
Yeah.
what is it? I
We've
don't
been trying
know.
to figure it out. It's it's just a lot of exciting stuff coming up. And yeah, I mean the Captain America was going to be my second choice. It's not the most obvious one I'm excited for because of the fact that they're like going through so many reshoots now. I'm just really excited to see like what we end up with. Like what is the film we're going to end up getting after like they're doing such an extensive reshoot process and everything. I'm like, I wonder what's going to end up happening.
Right. Yeah,
See,
it's
that's
worked in the
not
past.
Yeah.
it has. That's not the reason I'm worried about it. It's because they're putting so much into a movie. It's not. Why are you taking the movie away from Sam Wilson? You're making it a
It's
Hulk
true.
movie now with all of the Hulk
Ah,
characters. Now you have Giancarlo Esposito in a new role as a villain, I guess, that leads into another show. And like it was a Captain America movie. Now it's not.
Mhm.
yeah.
Just like
Do you
he
think people
just
feel that
needed
way about Civil War?
no.
I
Okay,
don't.
okay.
I
No.
don't. I don't think
Okay.
so at all.
No.
All right.
Because because Sam Wilson gets so much hate because he's not Steve Rogers. And he
Right.
gets hit from all sides of the fandom. You know, fake Cap, no powers Cap, black Cap.
Hmm.
I feel like he needed a home run of a movie. But now it's like, is he in the movie? I don't know.
I
Right.
Yeah.
know.
It's a good question.
They
I
It's a
should
good
have
know.
doubled
question.
down
It's
and made sure he shined. Like,
They
Yeah.
have,
yes,
and I don't think he will.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm gonna stay positive. I'm gonna hope. I love Anthony Mackie. He's so charming.
Hmm.
I'm
yeah.
hoping that
Yeah.
he gets a
He
few
is.
moments of just like, wow, that is Cap. That's
Yeah.
America's new ass.
Yes.
That's
New
yes,
ass.
definitely.
All right.
That's
Oh, that's
funny.
So
awesome.
yeah, just to kind of wrap things up, unless Scott, you have something else.
Yeah, I have one
Oh yeah, go
extra
for it, dude.
question just for fun because we mentioned sitting in the front row. Is that something you guys ever done? Whether like you thought it'd be fun, or you're like, I gotta see this movie, I'll settle for that because I did during Endgame, like on my second round
Oh.
watching it because my wife hadn't watched it. So I'd
Mhm.
seen it first, like regular person, and then I'm like, I'm gonna get these two seats in the front. Even with the reclining chairs, they don't recline far enough. And I'm like, every talking scene, I had to just like, I'm just looking below the screen because I'm like,
Oh
my neck was
no.
so sore. Have you guys ever like
Oh,
sat in the front like that?
I have, but not by
Yes.
choice. Usually it's like the last seats available or something, that
Right.
kind of
Right.
situation. It's
Hmm.
never like my ideal situation to do that. But I will say when theaters have the reclining seats, it makes it like 5% better, like less miserable, I
Yeah.
guess, right?
That's true. It's better than it
Totally.
used to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do,
Yes, when you literally
What
used to do
movie
this.
what movie did you do that for?
Me?
or
Oh, Max. Yours
Max.
was
Okay.
Endgame.
Yeah, it
Talking
was
to
in
Max.
right.
Oh my God. To be honest, it was so many years ago. It was like when I was a kid kind of thing. Back before they even assigned seats for theaters and you just like kind of would
Oh.
get like whatever's left when you walked in.
Right.
I can't remember what movie it was, but it was definitely like an uncomfortable experience. It's for sure.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
did it for the NWA movie. And like at the end of it, I mean, like I was like, I don't regret that one bit. That was a great movie. So
Nice. There you go.
Oh, there you go.
Nice.
Yeah.
mhm.
All
You,
what you make of it, I guess.
I love
Yeah.
it. Yeah. You find like the positivity in things where, I think some other people wouldn't, which is a fantastic quality.
Yeah.
Um, it makes me wonder, okay, so like I said, during this last season of X-Men 97, like your social media was going off. You've interviewed some amazing people from the
Yeah.
show. If you had to pitch somebody who's not a fan of adult animation, but you only had like 10 seconds to do it or 2 to 3 sentences to do it, what would you say?
I'd say I
Oh
wasn't a
man.
fan of adult animation and I loved it. Because
I
Okay,
I
know.
wasn't.
that's valid.
It's
Yeah.
true. I always say give it at least 3 episodes. Animation's usually a lot shorter than a regular series. Give it 3 episodes, just and pay attention. That's the thing. 'Cause I feel like when people like disregard it because it's animation and don't pay attention to the plot, that's where they start getting lost. Like, oh, this is stupid. Like I don't get it. It's just all it's all animated colors and this and that, and I don't. But you have to actually like you can't be on your phone. You have to actually like watch and
Right.
see and appreciate it as more of like an art form rather than like a childish cartoon thing, right? You got to appreciate it for more than just what it is on face value.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I love that. And I agree.
Yeah,
it,
same.
it spoke so much to me. It's my top show of the year. We do our end of the year
Mhm.
rankings, like our top picks for the Schticks, as we call it. And it's right now my number one. And we watched Shogun already with the Acolytes coming out. I'm trying to think of, the Bear's going to be coming out. And I don't see
Yeah.
anything dethroning X-Men 97 for me this year. So yeah, I loved it so much.
It's a hard one to beat, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you haven't watched it, do not skip the intro.
No.
Watch the intro. It
Every
adds
time.
to it every time. If you
Yep.
skip it, just try again.
It's a bop, for sure.
Yeah.
It is
It is a
fantastic.
bop.
Yeah, the Newton
Goodness.
brothers, like updating that and using it throughout all the different scenes this season, like to make it sad or to make it extra dramatic. Oh my gosh, chef's kiss to those guys. They killed it.
Oh yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
They
And I
did.
love how the MCU's been incorporating like the instrumental of the animated series title sequence, like in its projects, like Miss Marvel. We heard it a little bit
Right.
in Multiverse of Madness, so
Yeah.
I've been appreciating that too.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
definitely. Are ringtones still the thing? I might have to figure out a way to make it my ringtone
Yeah,
again.
for sure.
Like I did in high school.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
They are. Mine is Spider-Man, so
Oh,
Ooh.
perfect. That's a
they're
good one,
still
too.
there.
You are a true Marvel fan.
Yep.
Yeah.
Respect. Well, before we let you guys go, please tell everybody where they can find you, where they can support you, and where they can listen to the podcast.
All right, so you can follow me on Twitter at Vigilante Vibes. You can follow Megan on Twitter at Megan the Gangster. You can follow our podcast pretty much everywhere at Vigilante Vibes Podcast. Join our non-toxic Facebook group of over 50,000 members, Mediaverse Comics Unwrapped. And I feel like I'm forgetting. Oh, our podcast, of course, Vigilante Vibes, a Marvel podcast, available on Spotify or wherever you stream. Am I forgetting something? I feel like I am.
We also review comics, movies, and
Mm.
shows for nerdinitiative.com. That usually releases on Wednesdays, so look out for that too.
Yes.
Awesome.
Very
Well,
nice.
well said. Yeah. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. There's something we ask. Oh, I should also mention all of that will be in the show notes. Thank you so much for joining us. There is something we ask all of our guests to say before you leave. It's a little cheesy, but that's how we like to do it here. And it is basically just mahalo for sticking it with us.
Ooh, I love it.
So is it Mahalo or Mahalo for sticking it with us?
Mahalo for sticking it with
Are you-
us. Yep.
Okay.
Or when do we do it?
Whenever you want. And yeah, can I give you the 3, 2, 1?
Yes.
Yes, please. 'cause
Yes,
we
ooh,
suck at
exciting.
this.
Yeah, we do.
All right. So 3, 2, 1.
Mahalo for sticking it with
Mahalo
us.
for sticking it with us.
Yay!
So bad.
Hey, that was perfect. That was perfect.
I love it.
Yeah, we'll combine it in post. All right. Thanks,
Yeah.
everybody. Aloha.
The Joystick Show. The Joystick Show.